modern lifestyle is busy. With the whirlwind of activity, sometimes stress seems to be inescapable. I bet not all of you here feel completely rested and rejuvenated and ready to take on this day. You know, I feel kind of tired. You see, we're all on this spectrum of exhaustion, and yet for 1/3 of our lives, we sleep. We transition from this vibrant, thoughtful, active persona that we exude during the day and power down into this quiet and tranquil state of hibernation come nightfall. Ever since I was young, I've struggled going to sleep. Even with a comfortable atmosphere of stars above me, you could find me way after the lights were supposed to be out with a flashlight and a book. Sorry, Mom. Actually, ironically, sleep was one of life's many mysteries that had me up all night consciously pondering. Because you see, I had this curiosity. Questions would bubble up and then spin into ideas into actions, and before I knew it, well, let's just say I put that sticky notepad next to my bed to some good use. As years flew by and the intensity of school gradually increased, it was my hours of sleep that suffered the most. I felt more accomplished with more academic rigor, and I enjoyed the challenges. Yes, there were more distractions, but it felt good. I liked being in the know, in the light, if you will. But it took away from my quiet time in the dark. I believed that maybe sacrificing an hour of sleep to write that paper or that lab report was a badge of honor. I thought I was able to access work hours in which others were not taking full advantage. Was it admirable? I could handle it. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, was where I was wrong. You see, that right there, that's the paradox. Because the more sleep someone is losing, the more the sleep deprivation. The less capable that person is of realizing it in themselves. Once sleep deprivation, with its fuzzy-headedness, irritability, and fatigue, has a person in its clutches, they can hardly recall what it's like to be fully rested. You know, I just wouldn't be able to think about that I don't know, that word. I just couldn't focus. I couldn't connect the dots. I might forget to pack my lunch. I might forget a friend's birthday. But small things really started adding up. And before I knew it, I had fallen into the falsely secured trap of a pattern. I was running along on the treadmill in the pitch black dark. For quite some time, sleep research was also in the dark. But to really understand the consequences of sleep deprivation, one must both understand what sleep is and why it is so important to our general well-being. Because, let's face it, everyone wants to feel good in the morning. So what is sleep? I was actually fascinated by even the basis neurology behind this so-called simple phenomenon. I mean, it happens every day. According to the American Sleep Association, sleep is a 4-stage process comprised of 3 non-rapid eye movement stages and then one final, very important, rapid eye movement or REM stage. Basically, our brain has 4 distinct stages that we go through to promote restorative sleep. The measurement of neural activity between these different stages can be graphed, which actually presents an interesting visual. So this would be you when you just feel drowsy. You're awake, you're not asleep, but you're presenting forth what's called alpha waves. This is actually entering sleep in stage 1. At this point, we go in and out of consciousness, and we can be awakened easily. Stage 2 is the first stage of deeper sleep. In this stage, your eye movements and brain waves slow. Stage 3, you present forth what's called delta waves, interspersed with smaller, faster waves. It is very difficult to wake someone during stage 3, which is also known as deep sleep. This is stage 4, otherwise known as the dreaming stage. Rapid eye movement. It's very important because this is where you can consolidate most of your memories. We spend significantly different times during each stage depending on the hour of the night. So if this is what happens when one sleeps, what happens when one doesn't sleep? I bet we probably all know what I would term to be the basics. You know, that lack of sleep puts you in a bad mood, could affect you long term, you know, etc., etc. I mean, yes, that's true and also very important. But I was about to learn that the effects encompass and link so much more. So why do we sleep? Well, primarily for two reasons. First would be restoration. Every day, your brain accumulates a sort of metabolic waste. While this is completely normal as your brain is going about its neural activities, too much accumulation of these waste products can lead to neurological disorders. Sleeping is very important so you can wake up with a clear and refreshed mind. You have to consolidate your memories made throughout the day in all your various neural connections. This happens primarily during REM sleep, which is, again, why it is very, very important. Insufficient or fragmented sleep could render your ability to form concrete and emotional memories useless. Imagine not being able to remember some of the most beautiful or spectacular moments of your life. If we step back and look at teens specifically, in reality, we aren't getting as much sleep as we should be. Only 15% of teenagers reported getting 8.5 hours of sleep on the school night. According to Common Sense Media, parents' most prevalent concerns would be teen drinking and teen driving. Yes, maybe teen sleep deprivation seems like an obscure problem compared to these more pressing conundrums. To parallel teen sleep deprivation with teen alcohol consumption, losing 1 hour of sleep has the same effect as one alcoholic drink in terms of reaction. To move to teen automobile accidents, according to Dr. Maddox, a UAB sleep specialist, putting a teenager in a car to drive at 7:30 in the morning has the same reduced reaction effect as putting an adult in the same car to drive at 4:30 in the morning. I wanted to help, but I didn't know how because I had made these late nights my own sleep behavior. I had made it my normal. Regardless, I set out to make big changes because I knew I had to stop denying my body the sleep I desperately needed. Most teens need 9 hours and 15 minutes of sleep to function best. So I decided I would try to hit my age-specific sleep quota, sleeping best I could, 8 hours every night for 2 weeks, no exceptions. Here are some personal graphs of how my sleep worked out. As you can see, on this night of January 3rd, 2020, I was awake for quite some time. Before I even fell asleep, I was awake for a full hour and 12 minutes. You see, between our circadian signals and our biological clock, as well as different hormonal secretions, teenagers are in a sense programmed to go to sleep later and wake up later. If we move through the 2-week period, I started to notice interesting correlations as I was getting most of my REM sleep in the early and light hours of the morning. This is not an anomaly for a teenager. In fact, most teenagers experience this. We get our REM sleep in the morning, so therefore the morning is the best time for teenagers to sleep. The ideal sleep time for teenagers would be between 11 p.m. and 8 a.m., but at 8 a.m. the school bell rings. We can switch off our capacity to feel good and do good things for others just by not sleeping. And if teens don't feel good, we're not going to work well. If you're an administrator listening to this, I implore you to find a new way to make high schools start later. The benefit would be so impactful to these teenagers who need their REM sleep in the morning to form concrete memories. Teens, parents, you, me, us, all of us, we are all in desperate need of sleep. I even found when I did sleep more, I wanted to sleep more because of just how restorative it felt. When I got home each afternoon, the homework process was expedited because I wasn't only working harder, I was able to work more efficiently, better, because I had gotten more sleep. It just really felt good to feel good again, and that can be each and every one of us. I know things get hard, and at times, sleep doesn't seem like a priority, but it's too important to pass up. Sleep debt is our silent pandemic. We can't let sleep bankrupt our energy. Sleep well and feel even better. And so with that, I will say to you, good night and sweet dreams. Thank you.